My name is Architect Emeka Okoye, and by my left is
David Ekau.
and my right is Dorcas. Dorcas is a not a pharmacist, midwife.
I'm a midwife, nurse.
Yes, and David is a
pharmacist.
pharmacist. So let us discuss real estate and how real estate impacts an individual or a country's final bottom line, which is asset value and growth. We know, and I noticed, and we're going to discuss today, that in Uganda, we have something I have noticed as a foreign investor who has come into Ugandan space. We are now in the space of real estate. We are doing a project in Temangalo, and we are doing one in Arkwright, and we are developing land and creating livable spaces. But we've noticed that Ugandans are not used to buying houses. Most people like to own land and then eventually develop for themselves. But one of the things I wanted to bring to their attention is the necessity to turn your lazy assets into active assets. That's what I'm going to discuss today. But what do you think about this concept? Whether I'm correct or not, you guys correct me. If the people have more properties in land, but not much money in the bank, can you tell me why, or what do you think, Madam Maybe?
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor Emeka. Yeah, actually, indeed, the real estate is an interesting topic. It's something good to learn about. Yeah, apparently, when you have more money in the bank and you have the opportunity of maybe purchasing land somewhere, but you're uncomfortable for one reason or the other. Maybe sometimes you think, I can't go and buy a plot in a particular place because of the distance. Yeah, maybe I have to wait. So you keep your money lying there. But before you know it, the value of the plot
Has grown.
has grown, actually. And the money is lying in the bank, and yet you're not getting any interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much interest.
It's not much interest.
Sometimes 2% or 3%. Continue.
Exactly. Yeah. We have an experience, actually. In 2005, we got a plot somewhere within the city. And most of my friends told me, Dorcas, that place is very far away from town. I actually can't go there. Yeah. But if you get to that place right now, the value of the plots have really risen, you know. It has really, really, really gone up. And yet, if, for instance, you had money in the bank at that point,
With 3% return.
yes, it wouldn't have
Grown that much.
Yes.
Because 3% a year, in 10 years, you will only appreciate by 30%.
Yes.
That's all you can have, 30% in 10 years. But of course, how many times or what is the appreciation of that land?
It has now gone up by 40 times.
40 times.
Paid
Yeah,
for in
about
2005.
40.
Yes.
Now watch that.
We paid around 12 million. Now it is like 500.
Wow, 40 times. So now I can understand why a lot of people put money in land,
Yes.
because it actually appreciates faster than the bank can ever give you interest.
True.
That's nice. Now let us think about what is another level in real estate after you have acquired land, because I ran into quite a few people who have loads of land but no cash. We need to share with people the value of balancing your asset portfolio in the real estate sector. What is the advantage of having land but also having assets that can easily be turned to money? What do you think?
There's an angle I first want to share.
Yes.
You know, Uganda is an agriculture-based country.
Correct.
So we value land just being there. Yeah. Just having 100 acres, you are considered very wealthy.
Prestige.
Even when
Oh, it's
you are-
prestige.
It's prestige.
I didn't know.
So land also used to be owned communally.
Mm.
And as a father, if for example you demise, you die, you know, you are expected to hand over the
Properties,
land,
yes.
to the next generations.
Mm-hmm.
So children who sell the land, are not considered wise
Oh.
in our cultures.
Mm.
Yeah, you are expected to preserve the land
For
and
the next
simply do something on it, but not to begin splitting it up and
and
reducing
selling
it.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So these practices is what has defined some of the behaviors you're seeing in Ugandans.
Mm.
Yeah. Now you must have heard of the Balalo.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. There is a nomadic tribe
Okay.
which move from place to place
Okay.
with animals.
Cows, yes. Mm-hmm.
So it has become a security concern because they're moving with animals to other people's land.
Without permission.
The question is, long ago that used not to happen, meaning they had land,
Of
just
course.
like others also had. So what then has happened to theirs?
Okay.
So if you are having animals, you want to rear animals, it is wise that you should have land.
A ranch or something.
Yes, because you cannot do any farming when you have no land.
Land, yes.
So that is how much you value land.
Mm.
You can be walking barefoot.
Yet you own
Yet
a
you
lot of
own,
land.
yes, tens and tens of
Acres.
acres.
Wow.
You're still considered wealthy.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now that is what has defined our
Owning land.
yes. Now for most Ugandans, they do not have a lot of privileges like those who have traveled out of the country, who have had the privileges of going to school. So most of them, the only asset they have is actually
Land. Okay.
once the land is there, they can plow on it or do some farming on it and survive. But when you have no land,
Then
then
you
you
can
actually
starve.
have no hope completely.
Yeah, you can
You
starve.
see? So in Uganda, even when people have not, like now, if somebody fails to live in Kampala, you can't pay rent, you can't pay school, can't feed yourself in Kampala. Simply go home. You're not going to pay rent because you have your land.
Correct.
Simply put up a grassite house. Water is in the swamp. Sun is there. You're not going to pay rent. You're going to simply plant some cassava, sweet potato, and you survive.
Of course. And sell some.
Most times the swamps have fish. The termites are there. You plant some greens.
Yes.
You can't starve. You see? So you can rear some chicken, you get eggs, you do what. But so that's how much you value land. Now, if you don't have land, it is terrible. Yeah. So we have to understand how Ugandans value land.
Correct.
So the thinking about probably turning a portion of it, adding value on a portion of it, and leaving the rest for agriculture can make sense because a person sees that the land is still there.
Yes, yes. So one of the things we were bringing to the people as we're forming this program, Safer, where you have the landowner come into partnership, you have the investors come into partnership, and the two marry, create value, and share. It's actually a unique proposition in Uganda because many people in Uganda are land rich and cash poor. Land rich and cash poor. You see people who have, like you said, 100-acre, school fees time, they go borrow money. Are you with me?
Yeah.
When I have a person who has very good land in a very good location, and they're struggling with their agriculture, because if you do sustenance agriculture, you can never be rich.
Yeah. Subsistence.
You just make enough to eat. And that culture, there need to be a shift in paradigm. What is the shift in paradigm? As you suggested, you own a land. Let's say your land in, where was it? Chira, appreciated to about what, 150 million or 200 million? If you now put the smallest hut or bungalow in that place, what is a bungalow in Chira right now going in the market?
How many rooms?
4 bedroom, just say.
4 bedrooms. I don't know exactly. Maybe 300.
300 or
At least a 2-bedroom, I think it ranges between 350.
So 4 bedroom will be 400 or more.
Yeah.
So now, if you divide that land into 2, put on one
Yes.
a bungalow, which will cost you maximum 120 million. You've just created 500 million from 120 million. You still have the other land next to it that is going to be used for whatever purpose you want to do. Now, with your property, you still own the property and you can rent that house. So the house is creating cash value. Every month somebody pays rent. The appreciation is going high and the asset is still there. So I think one of the things SAFER is trying to do is to bring into the psyche of adding value to your lazy capital. It's a lot easier also to monetize a property that has asset on it than a property that is not having asset. Let's say your land is a quarter of an acre? That's 24 or 25 decimals.
Yeah.
In 25 decimals, you can put up 4 units of houses.
That is true.
If you divide the 24 decimals into 12 decimals, you can put semi-detached. Semi-detached means a house that has a wall dividing from another house. So you can put 2 semi-detached here, another semi-detached here. That's 4 units.
Yeah.
If you're getting loan to build it, let's assume you borrowed 600 million. You built 4 units. Each of those units will be worth at least 500 million from what you told me, because it will be 2 stories.
Yeah.
So you borrowed 500 million to create 2 billion shillings. Now you created 2 billion shillings. Even if you live in one of them, the other 3 rented out will be paying your mortgage, or at least help you pay your mortgage. Now, if you're getting money from the other 2 to pay mortgage that is 10 years, for example, you find out that by the time you're 5 years into paying your mortgage, you can wake up one morning, sell 1 unit, and pay off the mortgage.
Now, I wanted just to bring up the scenario in Uganda. I have some friends who are in the UK. The interest
In the UK, it's very low, yes.
is not more than 4%
Correct?
a year. Now, for us here, it's about 25%.
Which is very high.
So now, when you borrow to construct, expecting to use
Rent,
rental income for servicing the loan,
it's not enough.
it's not enough.
Correct.
You're going to lose the property to the banker. So, the question I'm actually having is, how come that the cost of money in our environment here is exorbitantly high compared to the developed world? Why can't our government match these things? Or why can't they break down the interest based on a particular risk level and say it's also possible to borrow in Uganda here at 4%?
Correct.
You know, in fact, in Japan, you're charged money for keeping.
Money in the bank, of course. In Switzerland, the same.
So people are paid to get money. You earn for taking a loan from the bank.
Of course. Of course.
When you go to get money,
They give you, because you're going to use it for something.
yes, you get 100 million, and because you borrowed money from the bank, you're not going to pay anything. Instead, you're paid for getting money from the bank.
Because
in that case, people you can see that it is profitable then in such an environment to borrow and add value on your thing, because
Correct.
any income you get is positive.
Of course,
You see?
of course.
It's
Now,
positive. And also the tenure of the loans.
A longer time, yes.
In Uganda here, the tenure is so short. So the installments are very high.
Yes.
Meanwhile, out there, the tenure is so long, you get a loan for 30, 40 years, 50 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like lease. 49-year loan. So the monthly installments is as good as 50,000.
You can use the rental to cover it.
So you find that the rental is actually more than you need for servicing the loan.
Loan, yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So such things is what spurs development. But
Correct.
now for us here, you actually pay through your nose, or you take a high risk to do
Borrow.
a venture to
Yes.
go to the bank to borrow for investment.
Now, let me help here. Since we brought that model of 4 units, so let's give people a solution to what you've just brought up. If you build 4 units, and we assume you borrowed 600 million, correct?
Yeah.
So we say that 1 unit will be 500. So you sell 1 house to pay off your loan. You still have 3. Are we together? If I have 4 units of houses, you subdivide the title individually, 4 apartments, 4 units. You sell 1, pay off your loan, and you still have your land asset. But now it's no more a lazy asset. Lazy asset is asset that is not bringing in money. Now I have cash flow, and I still have land that is appreciating with the property. So you create value. Whenever you build on your land, you increase the value of the land, and you increase the value of your asset. How long would it take a man that has 100 acre? Because most of the time, if you're going to have 100 acre, you're going to have it outside of town, where property appreciation is not as high as in the city. So your 100 acre in 10, 20 years might not even appreciate 30%, unless by divine enablement, some road came or some development came there. But that's a by chance. If it's in an agricultural rural area, it's just there. Are you with me?
Yeah, very well.
So adding value is known to be, okay, you borrowed 500 or 600 million. You created an asset base of 2 billion. Your net worth has already grown to 2 billion by your own creating. You're not praying, you're not asking anybody or waiting for government to bring development. You're able to decide your own destiny. Now, let's take it this way. Do you know from that 500 million you borrowed, you can create up to another 5 billion? Let's say you didn't sell 1 unit, you sold 2. That means you have 1 billion, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can buy 1 acre of land for 100 million across the outskirts. So if I borrowed 500 million or 600 million and I sold 1 house, paid off, and I still have 400 million, I can buy 1 acre again with 100 million in the same scenario where the city is going to grow in the future. So you, instead of your 20 decimal, now you have what? 1 acre on the outskirts. And after a period of time, what can you do? You can go there again and use your extra money to develop. If you bought 1 acre, you really can build 4 houses in that 1 acre. You have your 1 billion, because remember it was 4 units, at 500 was 2 billion. Yeah. You sold, got 1 billion, you still have 1 billion here. And then you went on the outskirts, bought an acre, and put just 4 units, because when you go far, you have to give them more space, more land. Yeah. So you build 4 units on, that's 25 decimal each. If you sell those houses, only even 200 million. You didn't borrow anymore.
Right.
So 200 or 250 million, you created another 1 billion. You have 1 billion here, you have 1 billion here, and you don't have any loans again. Real estate is the shortest distance from rag to riches.
Right.
Sure.
Yes, Pastor. We are talking about improving the value of the property.
Correct.
And I'm here thinking, are there some developments that are coming up that can impact the value of a property? Because, for instance, I'm looking at you go buy a plot and there's a house in that plot. Yeah, apparently the value of the plot will continue appreciating.
Correct.
And the property in it, the houses in most cases, depreciates. So now where you're doing the project, are there some upcoming developments that
Of
can
course.
impact?
Of course.
So what are those?
Like in Temangalo, you have the NSSF project just opposite us.
Yeah.
Oh,
The NSSF project, the small bungalows they have is about 60 meters,
2 square meters.
60 square meters.
yeah.
And the land is less than 7 decimal. Literally, you can jump from one roof to the other. We're building something bigger in 12 decimals, and we are selling competitive price compared to them. And we're also creating the community. So what is necessary is to understand where development is and always locate your investment near infrastructure and the people. You also need to think about where the city is growing. In Arkwright, when we bought the land, the road on our land was not even tarmacked.
Yeah.
Last year, you were there and you saw the tarmacking, and that created value to the point you can buy 1 acre now less than 800 million in Arkwright. Actually, somebody offered somebody $1 billion and they refused. Now, the Arkwright estate is being connected to the highway not far from our land. When that happens, the Entebbe Express Highway is going to increase the value again. So really, Ugandan real estate venture has been profitable to us because of the fact that we are blessed to have bought in Arkwright and the value has gone up. And by putting up 1 unit there, we've created what I just shared with you, over $1 billion or $2 billion in asset just by building on it. Well, I think we're coming to the end of our time. Hopefully, we will discuss more next week. I'm hoping that we'll get questions from the viewers and then direct on the questions. We have so much to share, but we need impact and input from everybody. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you, Madam
Thank you so much. God bless
Dorcas.
you. Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless.
See you next week. God bless. Take care.